What's up, YouTube? I'm Morgan, and I'm back with another DM tip for you. We are responsible for guiding new players. When we have players sit down at our table, it is our job to figure out what it is that they're looking for in their adventure and find a way to deliver it to them. And one of the best tools we have to accomplish this is creating opportunities for our players to roleplay their characters. Now, some people have no problem jumping into the limelight. They just get so excited and want to explore everything that you're throwing in front of them and the group. And it's awesome. But sometimes you have one or two players that get so into it that they start to steal the show. And everybody else starts to feel like they're just sitting on the sidelines. When this happens, it can be a problem. And it's your job to fix it and make sure it doesn't continue to be a problem. How do we, as Dungeon Masters, improve this situation to make sure that our players aren't hogging the limelight? Well, that's what we're going to break down in this week's video. So, let's hop into that 60-foot radius of light as we break down this week's topic. Running a game for a group of players means that you are trying to take on the role of weaving an amazing story for a variety of personalities. And while this is something that is definitely crazy fun, it can also be very challenging at times. And while you're going to have many players at your table that are ready to just jump right into the story that you're weaving, enjoy the lore, and just take in the world, you're going to have just as many players that are scared to get into character, they feel silly, they're shy, and this is where you start to have where some people take over the scenes more than others. Now, the reason why this should be a concern is because, well, you don't want certain players to feel like they don't matter to the story. You want everybody at your table to feel like they bring something to your game. So, the best thing you can do is talk to your players one-on-one after your sessions. When it comes to the players that are hogging the limelight, don't necessarily think that they're doing it on purpose. They're just really excited most of the time and just really want to dive in. And they don't want to have any dead air, so they're trying to actually help you out. So the best thing you can do is when you talk to them, don't tell them, hey, tone it down, don't do this. Ask them like, hey, can you help me figure out a way to get so-and-so involved? Make them feel like they're part of the solution, not part of the problem. And with your shyer, more reluctant players, you don't want to make them feel like you're singling them out or like that they're causing a problem. Don't ask them questions like, hey, are you okay? Like, why aren't you getting involved? That is going to make them feel like maybe this isn't the right place for them. Maybe they're not doing it right, which is going to probably make them pull further away. Instead, try asking them questions like, hey, are you really enjoying the game so far? I'm having a blast, and I want to make sure that everybody's enjoying themselves. Say something like, what would you like to explore? I'm asking everybody, and I want to get a feel for what everybody's, wanting to see for their characters. These kind of questions are a much friendlier way to explore the kind of experience they're having at your table. And it may even give you some amazing ideas to help you improve the game, not just for those players, but for everybody else at the table. Furthermore, you may discover that they are completely fine with being in the back. Not everybody wants to be out in the front, sharing the limelight. Some people like to be those background characters, and that's completely fine. Sometimes they just want to come out and kick some butt, and that's it. But it is our jobs as Dungeon Masters to ensure that we are exploring every option and making sure that if the torch needs to be passed from one player to another, that it is being passed. It's really important that you do this, especially when your players break off into smaller groups. Maybe two players want to go to a blacksmith and two players want to go to the library to do an investigation. When this happens, you have to make sure that nobody is being focused on too long and the other people are just being kind of like done as side characters. Make everybody feel like they're important. I have seen so many good Dungeon Masters get caught up with these scenes, focusing too much time on one group and very little on the other. I've literally been in games where the DM focused on either my group or the other group for 20-30 minutes doing some amazing role playing. And then when it came to the other group's turn, it was like 2-3 minutes tops, and then all of a sudden we're all back together. And it really can cause problems sometimes. It can really make you feel like your storyline isn't as important as theirs. And that's not the things you want to do with your players. You want everybody to feel like they matter. And that's why I like to use what I call cutscenes. Creating cutscenes are super important because it allows you to engage both groups pretty evenly, and you constantly flip back and forth in the middle of their role-playing sessions. So I think that's about everything when it comes to making sure your players share the spotlight and your responsibility to ensure everybody is involved in the game as much as they want to be. So for a quick recap, it's important to make sure you observe what you're doing and how your players are interacting with your game. And it's also important to make sure you take the time to talk to each one of your players after the game, before the game, and find out what's going on. But make it in a way that it's positive. Ask them what they want to do. How do they want to proceed? What are their thoughts on the game? Do things like that, so that way they don't feel like they're a problem and that they feel like they're part of the solution. And the other thing is when you do split your groups off, make sure you give each group the same amount of time as much as possible. Sometimes it's not always easy, but do your best to make sure everybody feels like what they're doing is important. So I think that's everything at this point. I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. I really, really do appreciate all the support that you guys can give me. I want to do more of these kind of videos. I'm actually thinking about starting to do some player videos for new players, helping them understand the game. So if this is something you guys would like to see, please put a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, check out our website. All links are in the description below. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have an awesome week, and can't wait to see you soon.